What we are going to review today is really a potentially powerful tool. Again, further studies need to be done in regard to treatment or overcoming, in particular, cancer's resistance to certain types of medications. Although, when we're looking at this particular chart right there, what you're noticing is just in the consumption of inulin. I know it's a little confusing because you see days after injection, that's what the tumor cell lines, but basically the animal model, the inulin was consumed normally. And we'll go toward that specification towards the end of this particular clip here. But as you look at that chart right there, that is the consumption of the prebiotic inulin slowing tumor growth on its own. Slide 2. This is in regard to MEK inhibitor resistance. Look at the green line. When they combine inulin with that medication, that is just amazing. Totally amazing. Again, they also tested other cancer cell lines as too, but again, I don't want to over-embellish the prebiotic yet until further studies are done or accidentally interject publisher bias. But let's get right into the study as follows. Prebiotics help mice fight melanoma by activating anti-tumor immunity. Scientists have shown that two prebiotics, mucin and inulin, we're primarily going to focus on inulin, slowed the growth of melanoma in mice by boosting the immune system's ability to fight cancer. In contrast to probiotics, which are live bacterial strains, prebiotics are food for bacteria and stimulate the growth of diverse beneficial populations. The study published today in Cell Reports provides further evidence that gut microbes have a role in shaping the immune response to cancer and supports efforts to target the gut microbiome to enhance the efficacy of cancer therapy. So, in the future, maybe seeing inulin add to food of those going through cancer treatments in order to overcome cancer's resistance to certain types of medications. But, in the future, to proceed, the research opens new avenues to address important unmet clinical needs in melanoma as it highlights the possible impact of prebiotics on tumor growth control and therapy resistance. We'll move ahead a little bit. Immunotherapies are targeted, quoting, our targeted treatments such as MEK inhibitors are helping people with melanoma, but not everyone. While some patients respond to therapy, others do not. In addition, many patients develop resistance to treatment which requires alternate medicine combinations. Something as simple as manipulating the microbiome by adding inulin with prebiotics might be helpful in addition to current treatment regimens, and today's findings should be further tested in independent models and systems. All right, we're just going to read right through here because it explains it beautifully. Again, towards the end, in a few seconds, we'll go towards the dosaging, but to proceed as follows. Growth of melanoma was slowed in mice that received either mucin or inulin, while growth of colon cancer cell lines were slowed only in mice that received inulin. We're going through the highlights. Mice with melanoma that received either prebiotics showed an increase in the proportion of immune system cells that had infiltrated the tumor, indicating that the prebiotics enhanced the immune system's ability to attack the cancer. The microbiota communities of the mice that received the prebiotics were altered. Importantly, mucin and inulin created different, distinct bacterial populations, although I was more impressed by the inulin, although in both cases they were able to induce anti-tumor immunity, indicating that the distinct mode of action by these prebiotics is beneficial for stimulating anti-tumor immunity. NRAS mutant melanoma is treated with an MEK inhibitor drug, as we discussed, which often results in tumors that develop resistance to the drug. Mice carrying NRAS mutant melanoma that received inulin were able to delay the development of resistance to treatment with the MEK inhibitor. Mice with a, quote, cold BRF mutant melanoma tumor, meaning it partially responds to immune checkpoint therapy, were as responsive to the prebiotics as immune checkpoint therapy. All right, before I go to the conclusion, two things I want to show you. One is the prelude, what encouraged the researchers to basically proceed with the study in regard to certain probiotics. I want to show that slide real fast so you get an idea. Pause it for a second. It goes through an entire list of studies that they looked at, which basically encouraged them to move towards this prebiotic study. All right, now the next slide, we're going to go to the dosaging as far as how much mucin was added to the chow, as well as the percentage of inulin, which you see there, which is 15%. All right, now to conclude. Our findings are a step forward in our understanding of how certain prebiotics affect tumor growth. Remember, I'm quoting, but we are far from applying these to humans. Further studies need to be conducted in more complex animal models of different genetic backgrounds and ages to address the complex nature of human tumors before we may consider evaluating these prebiotics in people. Again, incredibly, incredibly promising. Something simple that can easily be added to food. I was about to say feed, please forgive me. That is a common daily prebiotic. Inulin. You can try the mucin if you want to, but again, inulin, to me personally, showed much greater response than basically the mucin itself. So, what we're looking at is basically just a dietary addition that may be seen, future studies conducted, in hospitals that could help individuals overcome cancer resistance to certain types of medications or even potentially alternative treatments. That's publisher bias, which I forgive, but still, or I should say forgive I, but still, it is just incredibly promising and impressive what prebiotics can do to help diversify the bacteria and therefore help the immune system overall overcome these abnormalities. Again, DOI citation will be there for you. Hope you find this information of use. Full study is published, which is beautiful. I always enjoy when they publish the full study, so you go through methodologies and things like that and see what they utilized. But in any case, as always, hope you find this information of use. Gratitude. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to see you all once again in 7 days. Ralph signing off. Catch you all next time.